Here at Hooniverse.com, we review all sorts of vehicles from all sorts of manufacturers. Sometimes, however, we review vehicles from companies that have tuned vehicles from the manufacturer. Bet you can't guess who we're working with this week. Well, it's definitely a Shelby. It's not a Mustang. It's sadly not a Cobra, but we're not upset. This is the 2013 Ford Focus ST, and it's the Shelby edition. So normally this is the part where I say, let's take a look, but you're already talking to me and I'm already standing up, so let's just dive right in. I mean, it's clear that Shelby wanted you to know that this is a Shelby vehicle. It's got a wild paint scheme. It's got some carbon fiber looking bits, still got the ST badge and the Ford badge. It's got a blacked out grille with Mustang GT style hood extractors, massive TSW 20-inch wheels. They are wrapped in Michelin Pilot Super Sports. So this thing is mighty grippy. Coming down to the side, yep, it's, subtle, so it's a Shelby. Another big wheel out here, also front and rear brake upgrades thanks to Willwood, another carbon fiber trim piece, another carbon fiber trim piece, and another badge letting you know that this is a Shelby product. It's clear from looking at it, this is a boy racer hot hatch, and it's done in the best sense of the world. These cars should be fun, they should be a little bit wild, and I mean, look at this. This is Crazy Taxi done very right. So since this is a Shelby vehicle, which I don't know if you can tell even when you pop the hood, we want to know what's going on under the hood because this started life as a Ford Focus ST. That means there's a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder Ford EcoBoost motor in there. In normal guys, it's good for 252 horsepower and about 270 pound-feet of torque. Here, thanks to Shelby, it's closer to 280 horsepower. That doesn't sound like tons, but in a front-wheel drive car, as you creep closer to 300, you're reaching a danger zone in terms of the torque steer world. Shelby's done a lot to dress up this engine with this carbon fiber looking, I believe it's just plastic. I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem like real carbon fiber to me. If it is real carbon fiber, I will come back and correct because I'd hate to be wrong about that. You've got a Shelby manufactured VIN number in here, so this is the real deal from Shelby, and they've done a lot of good stuff under here besides making it look good by boosting that engine. The way they got that power is through an exhaust system. It's a catback exhaust from Orla. They've got a cold air intake, and then they've done a mild tune on the engine, which is another $500, but we'll get to the full price in a second. So now you've got a car that was already fun at 252 horsepower with around 280 horsepower. Sounds like more fun, and it is. Let's go inside, take a look, and drive it. So we've got 280 horsepower under that hood. Got a fantastic 6-speed gearbox here right by my hand. This 6-speed unit has been aided thanks to a Steeda short throw shifter. So when you flick this thing around, it's really precise and tight. It's a really nice unit. But couple that with the great clutch, that fun torquey engine, and you've got a recipe for success. Not 100% success though. One of the problems with the Ford Focus ST is a lovely little thing called torque steer. You're sending power to the front wheels, they're gonna wanna dance around. Ford has done a great job of managing that torque steer on the standard Ford Focus ST. Shelby's added more power to it, so you're sending more power to the front wheels, and this car has torque steer, a lot of it. So you could be going, and as soon as you come up on boost in the middle of the rev range, if you're on it, you're gonna feel the wheel dance a little bit, and that gets a little bit unnerving, and it's not really desirable. Still though, this thing is a fairly potent performer. The Focus ST is already a blast on a track. Now add in the fact that they swapped in a Ford racing suspension system. The car sits an inch lower, it's got those wider tires, it's got those sticky tires, it's got those wonderful Willwood brakes. This thing must be a beast on a racetrack. We're just driving it around the streets of Southern California, and we're not at the Hooniverse Highway hooning grounds today because Lake Elsinore is on fire and the road shut down, so we can't go there. So we're just gonna cruise around Huntington Beach and tell you a little bit more about the car. Now, some of you at this point might be thinking, Shelby, not Mustang? What's going on here? Clearly, you're young and you don't remember the delightful 80s and 90s when Shelby lent his name and his expertise to some fine Dodge products. Look up the Shelby GLHS. See what he did to the Dodge Shadow. He even fooled around with the Dodge Durango at one point. So he has a history of working with some small compact engines, turbocharged displacement stuff. So this is actually basically bringing Shelby a bit around full circle in a way. Yes, he still does his Mustangs, but it's nice to see him, I say him, I mean the company, apply their knowledge and know-how to a hot hatchback, and this is one hot hatchback, and it has to be because it's not cheap. This car, as it sits right now, is about $38,500. The Shelby package adds $15,000 to the base price of a Ford Focus ST, which starts at about $23,000, which is actually a heck of a deal for the regular Ford Focus. So some of you right now might be thinking, holy crap, $38,000, that's a ton of money. Let's compare this though. You can compare it to the Volkswagen Golf R. That car's around $36,000, $35,000. It makes less power, it's slower. Yes, it has all-wheel drive. Yes, it has a nicer, more comfortable interior. Not that this one is bad, that one just happens to be really good. But the shifter is nowhere near as good as this one. The power delivery is not as exciting in a good and bad way, you know, minus the torque steer. So this car is as fun, if not more fun, than the Golf R. But you can also compare it to, in a way, the Subaru Impreza WRX STI. How can I do that? Because it's the same type of buyer. It's a young man or woman who likes performance and has some bucks to spend on that performance. Yes, the STI has more power, it's all-wheel drive, and it's kind of a different animal, but at its core, it's the same animal. And it's around $39,000 these days for an STI. You're gonna get all-wheel drive, you're gonna get all-terrain awesomeness, but you're also not going to get the sync system. The interior in Subarus is getting better, but it's not there yet. Still, that car is fantastic. And this car can be a hair cheaper than that. Another thing that those cars don't have that this car does, this is a limited edition. Shelby's just going to build 500 of these, and that's it. So if you want to get a hot hatch that's fun to drive and you're not going to see another one on the street, I think you have to give the Shelby Focus ST a chance.